Let's talk about a very common pattern. Imagine a woman. She's young, maybe in her 20s. Her life is full of options. She is focused on her career, her friends, traveling, discovering who she is. When it comes to men and relationships, she is cautious about commitment. She values her freedom. She might date different people, have relationships that are more about experience and learning than about forever. The idea of settling down feels like closing a door she isn't ready to close. Now, time passes. She enters her 30s, or perhaps her late 30s. A shift happens. The priorities that once felt so clear begin to change. The things she used to chase, constant novelty, total independence, start to lose their shine. A new desire emerges, often with surprising strength. A desire for stability, for security, for a partner who is reliable, grounded, and trustworthy. The man she might have found boring 10 years ago now seems solid. The life she might have called predictable now looks like peace. If you are a man observing this, it can be confusing. It can feel like the rules changed. You might ask, was the freedom she wanted before not real? Is this just societal pressure? If you are a woman living this, it can be equally confusing. You might feel a deep, internal pull towards something new, even if your mind remembers wanting something different. You might worry, am I betraying my younger self? Am I just giving up? This pattern is everywhere. It's not a mistake. It's not a flaw. It is the result of a deep, biological program running underneath our modern lives. In this video, we will explain this program. We will look at the simple, powerful reasons, rooted in our very biology, why this shift from freedom-seeking to stability-seeking happens. We are not here to say one phase is better than the other. We are here to understand why both exist. To make sense of this, we need to think like our ancestors. Not for romance, but for survival. For most of human history, life was about one thing: making sure you and your children survived. For a woman, having a child was the most dangerous and demanding thing she could do. It required huge amounts of time, energy, and resources. Because of this, nature built into women a powerful, subconscious checklist for choosing a partner. This checklist has two main parts, designed for two different times in life when a woman is young and at her peak fertility. Her biological system is like a researcher. Its main job is to gather information and assess quality. Deep down, the system is asking, who has the best raw materials? Who has the genes that would create healthy, strong, smart children? This shows up in what she is often attracted to at this stage: confidence, energy, social skill, a sense of adventure, even a bit of risk. Commitment is less important here because the biological goal is not to lock down one person immediately. The goal is to understand the landscape, to sample. Getting tied down too early could mean missing a better genetic opportunity. So, valuing freedom and avoiding serious commitment at this stage makes perfect biological sense. It's not about being frivolous, it's about being a good genetic scout. As time goes on, biology's priority shifts. The question changes from who has the best genes to who can help me build a safe world for a child. Having a child is a long, vulnerable project. It requires safety, food, shelter, and support. The biological system now starts to prioritize traits in a man that signal he can provide that safety and support: stability, loyalty, responsibility, earning potential, emotional maturity. The charmer who is exciting at 25 might now seem unreliable. The steady, dependable man who seemed uninteresting before now looks like a safe harbor in a storm. This isn't a change of heart. It's a change of season. Think of it like building a house. First, you want the best possible bricks and steel, genetic quality. You shop around, you look at samples. Once you have that, you need a master builder who knows how to put it all together safely and make it last: stability and provision. You wouldn't hire the adventurous, risk-taking scout to pour the foundation. You need a different skill set. A woman who avoids commitment early is following the first biological instruction: gather the best materials. A woman who seeks stability later is following the second biological instruction: build an unshakable fortress. This is the simple, ancient rhythm underneath the complex modern feelings. It is nature's two-step plan for the survival of the next generation. In the next part, we'll look at why this natural plan often causes so much pain and confusion in today's world of dating apps and social media. Here is the problem. The ancient algorithm was designed for a world that no longer exists. It evolved in small tribes, with a limited pool of potential mates, where consequences were immediate and visible, and where a woman's fertility window was the central, unignorable fact of social and biological life. Today, we live in an illusion of infinite choice and extended adolescence. This is the modern trap. Our biology is running a program written for a wilderness, while we inhabit a digital casino. First, the illusion of infinite choice. Dating apps and social media have shattered the natural boundaries of the tribe. They create a psychic landscape where hundreds, even thousands, of potential mates are a swipe away. This hyperstimulation corrupts the sampling phase. It is no longer a focused assessment of a real community. It becomes an endless, addictive scroll, a pursuit of the potential for a better option, which always lies on the next screen. The biological impulse to sample is hijacked and placed on a permanent, exhausting loop. Commitment becomes not just biologically unwise during this phase, but seemingly irrational. Why choose when the buffet is endless? Second, the denial of time. Modern culture fiercely promotes a narrative of timelessness. You do you. Life begins at 40. Fertility isn't a clock. While empowering on one level, this creates a dangerous dissonance. It encourages a woman to extend the sampling phase indefinitely, to believe the nesting phase can be deferred without cost. Her biology, however, is not listening to the empowerment seminar. It is following an immutable cellular schedule. When the internal shift begins, the quiet urge for stability, it often conflicts violently with the life she has built and the identity she has curated as a free, independent agent. This creates profound internal conflict, the ancient imperative crashing against the modern story. Third, the corruption of signals. In the tribe, what signaled good genes or reliable provision was clear. Physical prowess, demonstrated skill, social standing within a real group. In the modern world, the signals are falsifiable. Social media allows for the curation of a dark triad: charisma, confidence without competence, the appearance of status without the substance. The exciting, genetic sample man can now be a mirage, a profile crafted from narcissism and illusion. Conversely, the true builder, the man cultivating real stability, is often invisible in this flashy landscape. His traits are quiet, long-term, and do not photograph well. This is where the pain originates. The woman feels the biological pull toward stability, but the market she is in is designed to sell perpetual sampling. The men who seemed exciting in the digital haze reveal themselves as poor bets for the fortress-building phase. The reliable men have often retreated, wary of a market that undervalued their currency. She is running an old, vital program in a new, glitched system. And for the man observing this shift, he sees what looks like hypocrisy. He sees the rules change without warning. He was told to be the exciting adventurer, only to find that the goalposts have moved, and he is now expected to have magically transformed into the steadfast provider overnight. He feels the injustice of being judged by a new, unspoken set of criteria that he was never told were coming. The system is not broken. It is perfectly designed to create this suffering. It exploits the female biological imperative for profit through apps, media, consumerism that sells the independent life, aesthetic, and for validation through the cheap dopamine of swipes and likes, while systematically obscuring the inevitable biological conclusion of the story. The result is a generation of men and women, alienated from their own natures, speaking different emotional languages and blaming each other for a confusion that was wired into them long before they were born. So, what is the hard truth? The hard truth is that biology is not sentimental. It does not care about your modern identity, your carefully curated Instagram life, or your philosophical beliefs about freedom. It has an agenda millions of years old. Viable offspring. The shift from commitment avoidance to stability seeking is not a personal failing, a betrayal, or a sellout. It is the manifestation of that agenda across time. To deny it is to wage a war against your own blood and bone, and that is a war you will not win. The Stoic advice here is not to rage against this nature, but to see it clearly and to act with wisdom within its bounds. For women, the most powerful thing you can do is to become conscious of the program, to recognize the sampling phase for what it is, a necessary biological scouting mission, and to conduct it with purpose, not endless distraction. Understand that the urge for stability is not a weakness. It is the next step in your biological and psychological maturity. To ignore its quiet approach is to create a future of frantic, last-minute crisis. Choose your adventures with an eye toward what they teach you about what you will truly need later. Time is the one resource you cannot negotiate with. For men, your task is to understand the two-phase audit. Do not resent it. See it. During the sampling phase, you are being judged, whether you like it or not, on your potential, your vitality, your competence. During the nesting phase, you are being judged on your actual, tangible reality, your character, your resources, your capacity to build and protect. The man who succeeds is not the one who pretends to be only one archetype. He is the one who integrates them. He possesses the genuine strength and competence that underpin real confidence and the discipline to translate that into a stable, structured life. Do not be the mere adventurer with nothing to show for it. Do not be the bland provider with no spark of life. Become the man who can legitimately be both the compelling chapter and the safe harbor. The final reconciliation is this: true freedom is not the absence of all constraint. That is chaos. True freedom is the conscious, deliberate choice of the right constraint. The constraint of a committed, stable bond, chosen with clear eyes, is the architecture that makes a profound kind of freedom. Freedom from anxiety, from existential loneliness, from the exhausting tyranny of endless choice. Possible. The woman who moves from avoiding commitment to seeking stability is not surrendering. She is graduating. She is trading the map of endless possibilities for the territory of a real world. And that territory, built on stone, is where a real life can finally begin. Understanding the biological mechanism is the first step, but it is only the first step. To stop at the level of pure instinct is to remain an animal, a passenger in your own life, tossed by ancient winds you do not command. Now, we must ask the harder question: what do you do with this knowledge? How do you move from being a subject of this pattern to becoming an architect of your own fate? This is the work of integration. It is the process of bringing the biological imperative out of the shadowy realm of unconscious compulsion and into the light of conscious choice. First, you must confront the shadow of each phase. The sampling phase has a shadow. It is dissociation. It is the endless chase that becomes an escape from the self. It is using novelty and the validation of others to avoid the hard work of building a solid identity. Its trap is that it mistakes variety for depth and confuses freedom with emptiness. The nesting phase, too, has a shadow. It is resignation. It is the desperate, fear-driven grasp at the first semblance of security, often manifesting as settling for a partner who is stable but devoid of the vital spark that first drew you to life. Its trap is that it mistakes safety for fulfillment and confuses comfort for meaning. To integrate is to take the virtue of each phase and leave its shadow behind. It is to carry the curiosity and vitality of the sampling phase forward, not as a pursuit of new people, but as a commitment to growth, learning, and passion within a chosen bond. And it is to embody the responsibility and loyalty of the nesting phase from the beginning, not as a cage, but as the discipline that makes true freedom possible. For the modern woman, integration means conscious timing. It means honoring the explorer within you, but with a map and a destination in mind. It means asking during the sampling years, what am I learning about what I truly value? Not just in genes, but in character. It means recognizing that the pull toward stability is not an enemy to your independence, but the natural foundation upon which a deeper, more meaningful independence, the independence to build, to create a legacy, to nurture, can be erected. The integrated woman does not betray her younger self. She fulfills her. She uses the data gathered in the first phase to make a sovereign, clear-eyed choice in the second. For the modern man, Integration means becoming a complete archetype. It is the synthesis of the warrior, the man of action, competence, and boundaries, and the steward, the man of provision, order, and patient cultivation. You do not switch from one to the other. You build both simultaneously. You cultivate your competence and vitality not as a performance to attract samplers, but as the bedrock of your own character. You build your stability and resources not as a last-minute offering, but as the natural output of a disciplined life. The integrated man is not a mystery or a contradiction. He is a force, exciting because he is capable and reliable because he is strong. When an integrated man and an integrated woman meet, the dynamic transcends the raw biological transaction. They are not just fulfilling an ancient program, they are collaborating on a modern project. The partnership is not a trap for her freedom or a drain on his resources. It is a voluntary alliance between two conscious individuals who have seen the pattern, understand the tides of their own natures, and have chosen to navigate them together. He is not merely a provider, he is a fellow adventurer who has built a ship sturdy enough for the long voyage. She is not merely a nest builder. She is the navigator whose depth of experience ensures the voyage has purpose and direction. The stability they seek later in life is then not a retreat from life, but its culmination. It is the secure base from which even greater explorations, intellectual, creative, spiritual, can be launched. It is the fortress that does not imprison, but protects the sacred fire within. The pattern we began with, the avoidance of commitment early, the seeking of stability later, is not the end of the story. It is the prologue. The biological imperative is the given, the raw material. Your consciousness, your will, your courage to look at the machinery of your own soul without flinching, that is what builds the life that comes after. Do not be a slave to the pattern. Do not rage against it. Understand it. Integrate its parts. And then build something higher upon its foundation. The goal is not to outrun your nature. The goal is to outgrow its limitations, to build a conscious life on the bedrock of an ancient truth.